Hey, everybody. Welcome to this week's session of Rogue Trader. Thank you for tuning in, and feel free to chat and let us know what you're thinking as we go. But we're pretty much going to jump right into things and get started. For those of you that tuned in last week, we had a little 0.5 session where we got more or less test out everything and make sure all of our bells and whistles were in line. And hopefully that way everything will work out the way we want it to this week. To introduce a couple new faces, we have Jeremy All Day 40K Nakano here, as well as Kyle Nolan. They will be joining us for the remainder of our campaigns, the next 8 sessions for 24 hours of epic Rogue Trader adventures and shenanigans. Yeah. So to recap from last week, our Rogue Trader, Corwinius, was in horrible, crippling debt to the planetary governor of the system. And basically, it is so bad that the governor is sending out bounty hunters after our brave party to get back what he is owed in flesh and blood, since coin probably isn't going to be an option because things have been going so poorly for our Rogue Trader Corwinius. Now, as we saw last week, our simple-minded yet incredibly strong Bulgrin and our super that's right, and our super strong minded, not necessarily in body, Eldar Farseer went on a mission to find out the coordinates sent by Corwinius to a great treasure that, if the party is able to retrieve, may just repay their debts and stave off the bounty hunter squads and the retribution that, unfortunately, our brave Rogue Trader squad down on its luck is in for. So where we left off in the last session, we had our Arvis lighter coming back to our Rogue Trader vessel. We had Dongo, and we had Farseer Eltiok coming in, and as the ramp was lowering, we saw another one of our brave party members standing very nervously, wringing his hands upon the deck of the ship. And as they stepped off, sorry, I'm trying to pull up my apologies, guys. I'll be much more articulate after this. Colin, would you mind allowing me to edit objects really quick?
Oh, that's a good idea. We're going to need that.
Thank you.
Stay tuned, everyone. This is not even his fault.
There we go. Perfect. Awesome. Just going to drop that down here.
It's very hard to fix technology problems while you're also doing all of the talking. I could speak from experience.
This is very true. So just 1 second while I fix this, and we'll be ready to roll after that.
Kyle, let's pretend you and I that Bailey didn't tell me what your character is and I don't have a model ready. Hypothetically, what is your character? Maybe I have a model ready.
Yeah. Like my character is a missionary, if you have something like that.
Yeah, okay. Yep. Good to go.
A priest.
Some hammer or power sword?
Oh, hammer. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Good question.
I'll do my best.
Speaking of priests, I wish we had a tech priest pray over our technology today and channel the powers of the Omnisaya so that no weird technical difficulties would happen. We should have that. Every stream, we'll have a tech priest come in.
There we go. All right. We have all of our information on the table now. Very good. All right. So back where we left off, the Arvis lighter coming into the ship. And as it's coming down, we see Gage standing on the deck. He's wringing his hands. He looks super nervous. Altiok, you step off the deck. And Gage, what's the first thing you say to Altiok when he comes down off that ship platform?
Well, howdy. I think we need to have a little bit of a group meeting because there's some things that have been happening that we are not necessarily going to all enjoy. So, bring it in, guys. We really got to talk. We really, really got to talk. So there's some stuff has hit the fan, and we might be in trouble. So I go ahead and try to get everybody in and like wave something shiny so Dongo could come over.
Very good. So you quickly grab them and you're transporting them up the ship. Altiok's nervous. Dongo isn't too perturbed, but he's following you because yes, indeed, you do have something shiny. I don't know exactly what that would be for Dongo.
It's a can of like the spam, the space spam.
Shiny.
Yeah.
Corpse paste?
Yeah, exact corpse paste.
Dongo like corpse paste.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
right.
good. All right, Dongo. Now, I want you to do two things while I'm talking here because there's a lot of stuff happening. There are two things I need you to do. Number one, I need you to eat this slowly, and I hand him the corpse paste. And number two, I want you to count to 12. Now, you might need your foot for this one, but try not to make too much noise while you're doing it. Can you do that for me, buddy?
Dongo almost eat all thing.
Good job, buddy. All right. Well,
So, as you step forward, you everyone's gone up the ship, and Gage, you lead the whole party into the little rogue trader ship's chapel. And inside the chapel, there is a body that is draped with a sheet and a wiry, strange man who is reciting prayers over it as you step in. Continue, Gage.
it is in my unfortunate most reality here that we must accept that Corwinius is fallen. Sadly, he is no more, and what's even worse than that is he's kind of left me in charge. Now,
That does sound worse.
I know what you're all thinking. Gage, you're just the guy who walks around and woos random people. You're just the guy who, when we're in a tight spot, talks. I understand. You might be nervous. So am I. This is really, really bad, guys. We need to be very, very careful because there's heat coming down on us like you wouldn't know. So we better get moving and being effective. Now, idea. Let's just pretend he's still alive. We'll hide the body. Right? We can do that. Hide the body, pretend he's still alive, and just get out of here. And maybe, just maybe, we can get going. What do you guys think about that?
This sounds like a terrible idea. But sure.
Now why would you come in and bring it down already? We could get going a little bit better. We could maybe start. Priest, come on. What do you think, buddy?
As you call over for the priest, I'm still mid eulogy here, or rather, finishing up my last rites. The Emperor's watch has one more faithful eye.
Oh God! Emperor be praised. All right.
Emperor be praised indeed. Now, what's
Emperor
all
be
this huss over here?
Well, here's the thing. It's a bad time because I ain't Corwinius. You ain't Corwinius. Dongo ain't Corwinius. Dongo, how's that food taste?
Dongo?
Good. Great job. What number you
Dongo!
made? Yep. All right. Because none of us really are Corwinius, we need to get out of this place. We are under some serious amount of danger. Again, we need to hide the fact that Corwinius is dead so that we can slip under the radar, hopefully in a way to clear our debts out of here. But there is heat coming down, and it is in no short supply.
Now, I understand your pleas here, but you have to understand. As the Reverend aboard this ship, we can't simply just desecrate this poor man's name and pretend he's alive. He's dead. How could we just move on? What's really
Well-
at stake here? He's the one with all the debts.
As you're mid conversation, you're going to hear beep, 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 beep. And you'll see a little red flashing light on the rogue trader's body's hip as his little pager's going off.
Oh, hell. Gage goes down and grabs the box. I assume it's a box of some kind.
Yeah.
Plucks it up and makes sure. There's no video. It's just voice, right?
Just voice, yeah.
Yeah. Click. Why, hello. This is Gage. Corwinius is unavailable right now. How can I help you?
You hear a brisk woman's voice come over the comm, and you'll hear, "This is Naira, the bosun. We have received orders from the planetary PDF forces and Navy to dock on the shipyard and for us to all be arrested. What should we do?"
Keep the doors locked. Keep the doors locked. We are going to be very, very careful, bosun. Naira, sweetie, you wonderful thing, you. We'll be up to the bridge in no time because we're just play it cool. You know, just play it cool. We're gonna be just fine, right, Dongo?
Dongo!
Yep. You heard him. You heard him. And then I click the box. Guys, we really got to get going.
They're gonna arrest all of us.
You know that governor. I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna talk real close to him. The governor, he is a corrupt man, and it is his corruption that has led to the fall of our great leader who serves the emperor with glory.
Oh,
So we must preserve all of us in his light.
right. Yes. I do concur. You are right. Batten the hatches then. What do we do?
All right, let's get up to the bridge. I guess.
So you guys storm out of the church chamber and quickly get on a shaft elevator that takes you up to the bridge. As you enter into the bridge, it's a sea of commotion. There's all these random servitors that are typing away at cogitation stations. You also have all these people running to and fro, looking for orders. They're leaderless in a sea of panic. And as you approach the main dais, the command dais, where the rogue trader's chair is, you see Naira, who's standing there. She isn't as panicked as everybody else. You could tell this chick is never shook. But she is looking a little bit stressed. And as you approach the dais, she looks down at you and she says, "We've been given 5 minutes to start for our propulsion engines and head to dock. Otherwise, they will begin to fire upon us. What should I do? What does Corwinius wish us to do?"
Yeah, that's a great question. As it turns out, Corwinius wants to make sure that this crew is not arrested. As it turns out, Corwinius is trapped deep inside of his quarters right now, in great focus on a battle plan, and has left it to us. Right, Dongo?
Dongo?
Yeah, see, affirmation from Dongo. To make sure that all of us get out of here safely.
So you want us to go the other way and defy the orders of the governor?
Yep, I think that's what we need to do. That's exactly what we need. We need to make sure that we protect everyone here, because the governor is a corrupt man. Right, preacher?
Absolutely. In his holy name, the Emperor blesses us to journey forth so that we may escape his evil clutches.
That's right. That's right. That's
Naira
right.
looks shocked, which is an expression her face doesn't normally show very often. And she also seems a little like where's Corwinius? So, Jeremy, I'm going to need you to try to persuade Naira to follow your direction instead of the governor's direction.
Perfect.
So you're gonna need to roll me a test.
Okay, so that would be a fellowship test, I assume.
So the cool part about Rogue Trader is you get to convince me what skill you think is best that you
Okay.
know to help you best get this figured out.
Great. So I believe that us together as a group is what is going to see us through. Seeing as our great leader is so busy right now, we need to band together, all of us lessers, and do things as a fellowship. And so I would like to do a fellowship test.
All right, sounds good. Maybe using charm. You've got a pretty high stat in charm, if I remember.
Oh
right.
yeah, it's pretty hard to fail charm. So yeah, I'm like, so so he's like, puts a hand on Naira's shoulder and says, Naira, how long we've been together? Come on, Naira, like, we've been hip to hip for decades. It feels like decades together. And as long as we all stand one together, no matter what Corwinius is doing, we're gonna be okay, right?
I don't know. Let's see. Are we gonna be okay? Is she convinced?
I don't know. It's a 73.
A 73. What's your stat say? Go to your TTS. Should have your thing pulled up here.
My fellowship base is 73, but my charm is checked off to like
plus 20, I think, right?
Yeah.
So you pass with 2 degrees of success.
Okay.
She is in fact moved because now, while you only did join the crew about 6 months ago, it does feel like a long time. And though she can't really remember your face or remember many of the other Rogue Trader people that have come and gone, you've struck a chord within her, and she never did like the governor guy because the dude that inspects the ships is creepy.
Oh.
Yeah, so she's not about it. So she does a bosun chime over the klaxons, and she yells out to the crew, and she says, "Void stations, prepare to launch. We are getting out of here." So I'd like all of you guys. She says, we're a couple people down as we're making this jump while there were still crew members on the planet. I'm going to need you guys to fulfill stations on the ship.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, absolutely. She says, so for now, as you're speaking for Corwinius, please take the Rogue Trader's chair.
Yep.
You're mostly going to oversee the chaos.
Yep.
And
I do.
She goes over to Father Huck, and she says, Reverend, I need you to man the mandible point jump system.
Gesundheit.
She says, follow me. She leads you over to a very huge data bank, and it's covered in lights and buttons. And then there's like a little tiny screen. And on the screen, you see this like eyeless dude, and he's like looking up at the camera. And as you look at him, he goes, because this is your navigator. And it's a very tiny, grainy screen. But she says, when he tells you to, you're going to prime us so that we can jump into the warp at the mandible point. It needs to be timed perfectly because it's going to be very apparent we are not going to the docks and we're instead leaving the system, making for the mandible point to jump into the warp. When he tells you, Reverend, you need to make sure to pull these 2 levers down.
All right. I can do that. Oh,
and so
Emperor blesses.
She doesn't like Altiok very much. Naira doesn't. Not many people here on the ship do. And to be fair, he's kind of a quiet guy. Keeps to himself, as an Eldar would amongst a crew of people that he believes he's better than, I would imagine.
Yes.
And so she says, I do have an important job for you, Eldar. She says, you're going to man this Vox station right here, and you are going to stop the governor's ships from firing on us for long enough for us to make the mandible point. You need to convince them.
Altiok does not feel like he can do convincing, but he'll try his best. In the end, it doesn't matter after all, right? Just puny human weaponry.
She says this shadow will link to whatever ship is going to start firing on us. So your job is to keep that at bay. And she turns back to Gage and she says, and you'll be communicating most likely directly with the governor's main flagship, also stopping them from shooting at us. Does
Yep.
everything make sense?
Oh, definitely. There's no problems here.
She says, all right, very good. So she goes up to her station. She hits all of her buttons, and the ship, you hear the drivers start thrusting as it slowly starts to turn. And you look out of the port, and as you look out of the port, you see the main void screen port. You see probably 12 to 15 frigates and a large warship, and they're all kind of in a position to where they would start to be able to move on to pull firing lanes if need be. So,
Does Dongo have a blank station, like one that doesn't work? Maybe a giant hamster wheel that, like, he's pretending he's contributing. Like everyone's like, yeah, he's
Dongo helping!
Like an unplugged.
he is stationed at the
controller,
water fountain, and his job is to keep
Dongo
pushing
bubbler.
that button to keep the water flowing, because that's keeping the ship going. That's right. At
Hydration.
least that's what Naira, who does know Dongo very well. Dongo is the most senior crew member here. Like,
Dongo.
absolutely. So Dongo knows this routine very well, because Naira turns to you, Gage, and she says, the trick is to keep the big boy occupied, because if you don't, you'll get very anxious when we make the jump to warp and potentially start hurting some things or stations. So we've learned that he has a very important job, which is keeping the water going to keep the engines cooled.
Dongo.
He's a great helper, that Dongo.
Yes. So she goes to her station, and as the ship continues its turn towards it's going to take 4 minutes and 55 seconds to reach the mandible launch point. The mandible launch point into the warp. So you guys start powering that way. As you do, you immediately hear a hail on the main Rogue Trader station, which is asking for Corwinius to immediately respond.
I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give it the 3-ring minimum. You know, like,
oh yeah,
kind of staring at it, just giving it a little. Yep. As the near the almost the 4th ring as it's about to start, go ahead and flick it on and say, "Thank you for calling, Gage speaking."
And just a blusterously loud voice says, "Where is the Rogue Trader Corwinius?"
Oh my goodness, the volume so much it kind of shook up the speakers. Hold on, give me a minute here while I mess with these settings. I just can't hear you. You're just too loud. And you can hear him just like clicking things that have no real value. He's just pausing, like trying to slow things down. All right. About 30 seconds later. All right. Can you maybe perhaps say that again? It didn't quite catch you the first time.
Now, even more enraged, the voice is like, "This is Captain Escobar. I was told that Corwinius would be responding and coming to port to be arrested. Put him on the box now."
Escobar? I've known an Escobar in the past. I don't know. I don't suppose that you know Phyllis Escobar from Sector 1832.-9?
You hear the mic kind of like click down a little bit as you hear him say, "Prepare to fire warning shots over their bow."
Now, you don't need to do that. Don't be such a mean cuss, Mr. Escobar. It'll be fine. We can do this with civility. I promise. I just need you to engage with me in conversation.
Again, spluttering on the other end of the Vox channel. And then he says, "If I don't hear from Corwinius in 30 seconds, I will sink 2 torpedoes into your hull."
When's the last time that you had to drop a big doo-doo and you were just stuck? Do you expect him to run pantsless 30 decks below up here, all while spilling the brown stuff on the way?
Roll to convince this fine gentleman.
Is this charm?
Mm, this is probably deceive. You could try.
Nope.
I don't think you're charming this guy though.
Nope.
He's pretty
That's a
angry.
92. Yeah, I don't have any deception, so I believe I failed that with 2 degrees of failure.
What'd you roll? Sorry, I don't have a
92, I think.
92. Oh yeah, no, that's pretty bad. He says, unacceptable. What modern ship does not have a Vox chamber into the captain's quarters for the private times?
Sometimes things break, man. You know our financial situation. It's not perfect.
He says, I will be giving you 30 seconds. If he is not on the box when I call back, I will be torpedoing your hull to hear the thing hang up. It's been about, you filibustered for about a minute and 30 seconds so far. So
Okay,
you're
not bad,
still
not bad.
got about 2.5 minutes to the mandible point.
Okay. I will look over to the bosun. Naira, is there anything we could do from a technology standpoint to be distracting in any way?
She says, not on this ship.
Nice.
They repoed that a long time ago.
Even better. How's our defenses? Are we going to be okay if we get 2 torpedoes sunk into us in the next 30 seconds?
It depends on where they hit us, but most likely, we probably won't be flying anymore.
Oh, great. All right. What was Corwinius's voice like?
Oh, good question. So Crowidus had sort of like one of those Hollywood British accents, like Maximus from Gladiator,
Okay.
and he was older, so he's like, he was like 65, which it rejuvenated 65, so more like 350.
Right.
And so think of like Christopher Lee with like a Maximus accent,
Okay.
and but yeah, and he had a stutter.
Even better. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this might not go well. I'm gonna do my best though, and I'm gonna wait for them to vox back over.
The clock clicks, and then sure enough, you hear that boop, 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 boop.
Wait until the beginning of the 4th ring. Emperor save us. Hello? This is Corwinius. I understand that you're all a bit angry with us.
So the commandant, he immediately says, "You sound different than from when we spoke yesterday at the port.
Yeah,
How do I know this is you?"
It's because of the hard doo-doos and the run from 30 decks below that has caused this shift in my demeanor and voice.
Says, "I do remember that annoying stutter. You need to turn around your ship right now, or I'm about to sink 2 torpedoes into your hull. My fingers are on the button, Corwinius."
Oh, I understand that you need to do that. We are currently working out some of the issues with our navigation, and will, as soon as possible, acquiesce to your wishes.
Patch me over to your chief navigations communication officer. We'll give him the coordinates.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get that going. And I will.
That's Altiok.
Yeah, I'll flip it over to Altiok and be like, I'll cover, close the channel. Altiok, give me the old spinnery do.
Altiok is ready.
Flicks it over. Just sweat pouring down his face.
So, do you think you could give me those coordinates? Says very slowly.
Very, very slowly, I'm imagining. You hear a lighter voice on the other side of the box. This is the commandant. This is his chief officer. And the gentleman says, absolutely. Please look at your data slate. You shall see it coming across in approximately 20 seconds.
Okay, I'll wait the 20 seconds and tell me when it pops up.
You immediately see directions that are basically like, turn around, you idiot.
Oh, our data slates don't seem to be working very well. I think they must have been reclaimed for monetary purposes. Do you think you could read that out loud to me real quick?
He says, our system doesn't work like that. This is sent from the commandant's channel himself. I just convey it.
I'm gonna need you to read that out loud to me.
You hear a labored breathing and then pitter-patter of feet as you hear him coming up to probably the commandant's station, you'd imagine. And he steps up and goes, Sir, they need you to read your instructions over the box. You hear, what in the Emperor's... Then he steps forward and he says, turn your ship bloody around, Corwinius.
No, I'm going to need the coordinates.
There's like a shattering noise. And then you hear, prime those torpedoes. Emperor blast it all. Which you're hearing him take the Emperor's name in vain now twice, Father.
What in the tarnations am I hearing? Oh, my days across all my stars. Let me at him. Put me on the mic.
From the chair, I just switched the box over to Huck. This is going to be great.
Now you listen to me here. You bloody, almost heretic. In my name, as Eustace Montgomery Huck, Reverend of this here vessel, I declare you a naysayer, a non-believer. Do not take the Lord's name in vain. The Emperor is absolute. Watch yourself, should you acquire his ire.
The commandant's like, what? Where did Corwinius go? Who's this guy? Take this blathering idiot off the mic. You have about 30 seconds to the mandible point. Your stalling seems to be paying off.
I guess I'll flick it back over to my chair. I understand you're getting ready to send some torpedoes over. I don't suppose that you can tell me the price size payload of those torpedoes as to not further get us more in debt for costing the governor so much money.
The commandant's like, now I know you're BSing. He was like, Cornelius didn't stutter that bad. And he says, loose those torpedoes, Sergeant at Arms. You merely hear warning klaxons and chimes as Naira's like, we have torpedo lock. Evasive maneuvers. Everybody hold on. All you make an agility check for me really quick. Even a Dongo at his very important station needs to make an agility check to make sure he stays on his feet as the ship takes a very, very hard
Dongo's so fast.
Jesus Christ. I rolled an 84, 88.
Everyone go ahead and roll.
Yes. Nick will pass with a 36. Or sorry, Alchak will pass with a 36. As the ship takes a hard right, Gage will just go flying out of the main pedestal station of the Rogue Trader, right over the cogitators, and Banks just falls 5 feet down onto the ground. Bam! Right on his back.
Suffer and succotash.
That's nothing compared to the aerial Bulgren that we've just had.
Yes.
I have rolled a 98, gentlemen.
Oh wow! So
yes.
so there is a slab of roaring mussel comes flying, just air. It's actually kind of shocking that he's flying in the air, because it was a hard right turn, but it wasn't that hard of a right turn. But Dongo is launched, and it might have been the way he was positioning himself on the wall. We'll never know. But all the way from the water fountain, slamming straight into the void screens, a full distance of 30 feet, Dongo will go flying and crash into the servitor pit, more or less, which is a pretty small, tight, confined space full of very vital servitors.
I just picture, as this is happening, like Enya playing in the background as like we're flying through the air in slow motion.
There is a core issue that Dungo is afraid of the dark. So that is a
Oh no.
Dungo!
Dongo begins panicking, throttling servitors left and right. And Naira immediately says, so as you look, one of the missiles clips the side of the ship with a loud explosion. And the ship will rock, but Naira says, we're good, as the other missile shoots past. And then sure enough, you're at the mandible point, and she says, Father Huck, pull the levers! As you see the dude with the no eyes and the thing go, ah!
I pull him.
And all of a sudden, luckily, the dark pit of servitor destruction is lightened as all the colors of the rainbow pour in through the front of the void shields, which in all the craziness didn't get closed, as that's usually the rogue trader's job. And the warp opens at the mandible point and the ship is subsumed into the warp. I want everyone to go ahead and take 5 corruption points from being exposed to the naked warp. You should be able to adjust your sheets, I believe, in the TTS. And then what we'll do is, so that we'll be full on into the warp and traveling, and what it seems, no one's following, and the Geller shields are holding, and it seems you are safe from all the frigates and enemy ships that are coming in.
Gage will climb and slump back into the rogue trader's chair and just huff the biggest sigh of relief. And then just raise a fist into the air. Crew, well done. Huck, that was some key sermonizing. Well done.
Thank you. Good leadership
sorry,
right there.
And I'm sorry, Nick, what's the character's name? Is Eltoic? Agatar? What is it?
Agatar.
What is it?
Altiok.
Altioc. All right. Altioc, thank you for staying in your chair and making sure we're able to get going. Good communication. I thought that was a wonderful plan. Wonderful plan. Dongo!
Dungo!
Get out of that pit. We need you on the water wheel.
Okay. Dungo will head back to his important job at the bubbler.
Yes. And for all intents and purposes, Naira says, well, go ahead and let Corwinius know about the situation, of course, and I'll see him at the morning briefing. It's also, where are we going?
We're going to redefine that with Corwinius. Yep.
She says, so we're just going to be floating aimlessly in the warp.
No? What's
I think
What is the least
Dongo has the directions.
Oh, that's right.
Dungo!
Dongo, get
I
over
think
here.
they're probably
Fanny pack.
still in his gigantic fanny pack.
They are in his fanny pack.
Dungo.
Here. Take these.
She says, all right, well, we'll see basically if we could get these all worked out, and we'll get them. I'll let you know if there's any issues. Should I message Corwinius or should I message you since he's indisposed?
You just message me. He's feeling a frightful bit of sick right now.
She says, and all the stuff you told the governor, So, like, what kind of sick is he? Is that like?
His insides are making their way outside a lot.
Oh no. She says, "Well, wish him the best for me, and if he can't make it to the meeting, maybe he can send you or someone instead."
I think that may be the case. He needs time. Definitely needs time.
She
The
says,
crew is extremely gullible, is what I'm learning about this rogue trader vessel.
that, and remember, this is not the best crew money can buy because you have no money.
Mm, mm.
It's the best crew that would come along, I guess.
Also, even the most talented guardsman is still just a guardsman.
This is true. This is
Mhm.
true.
Mhm. All right, let's go. Let's go figure this out. Let's make our way down to the chapel, Reverend.
Right.
Somebody has a baby on the bridge.
Yes. How unprofessional. Get this child off this zone. It's dangerous. There's flying Bulgren.
That's our navigator. And so we'll gather everyone up so we can go hide Corwinus's body, and figure out a plan.
I like any plan where step one is hide the body. I'm down
Hide the
for any plan where that's the first step.
Well,
Um,
I do
Sounds like you
believe-
guys should discuss what your plan is, and also probably discuss with Altiok and Dongo what exactly the rogue trader's plan was, as they were the ones that were sent on the mission to get the directions that Dongo so carefully protected.
Yep. Well,
Yes.
so we'll make our way down to the chapel and lock the door. All right, LTL. Corwinius sent you to go find something. What is it?
Yes. Corwinius sent me to find a hollow core that was said to contain. I actually didn't catch from Bailey what it was said to contain, but something that would repay our debts to the governor, the planetary governor. And you are muted, Bailey, just so you know.
It is the directions to a map. So it's the map to a map
Amazing.
to great treasure.
Sorry
That's
to
at least-
interrupt with technical difficulties,
Oh,
but
you're
I
good.
have reloaded the TTS to make it work for everyone. Please let me know if it's still having problems. Go ahead.
Perfect. So, but basically, yes. So Corwinius, the night before his passing, had gone to an all-you-can-eat Grox meat and Amasek night down at the local rogue trader lodge, and that's where he had found out about this incredible treasure. Now, he's the only one that really knew what the treasure was, but apparently, according to the directions that Dongo and Altiok retrieved, the treasure itself, you guys should be able to find out what it is when you talk to this great quest giver, so to speak, when you follow these directions and find him.
Okay.
But apparently, Corwinius felt like he could wipe out his debt, get him back in the good graces with the governor, and potentially get you guys all off the hook too, I'm hoping.
All right. Well, that sounds like a grand plan as far as what needs to happen. We got coordinates. Great job. Great job, LTO. Great job, Dongo. We are going to need a small party to bench forward once we get there, talk to this man, get this information, and clear our names. Because there's nothing more important than that, because quite frankly, those governor torpedoes were scary. Not a big fan of all that. What kind of trouble did y'all run into down there?
Oh, just some people with guns, a couple Ogren. Nothing serious.
Were there any distinguishing markings, anybody specific, or was it just rampant raiders?
Seemed like rampant raiders mostly.
Okay, all right. So no one's necessarily sniffing the trail. Although, if were I to use my own little cogitators, I would say that because of this rumor floating around in the lodge, that there might be more than a few parties seeking out this treasure. If it's enough to get well, all of us off the hook.
Your intuition is definitely, you definitely feel like this is correct. That most likely this tale of riches has probably spread farther than just Corwinius's ears. But that being said, to your knowledge, your party's the only one that seemed to have got these directions to the directions. So
Oh, did the tech priest guy come along too?
yes, he is
Okay.
still down on the embarkation deck, and he was working on some of the damage that was done to your guys' rough shuttle.
Cool. So he's
You only got the one Arvis lighter, and it's like it's like a 2006 very beat up Honda Civic of an Arvis lighter.
Ooh, that car still costs $2,000.
It does, because it still runs. It still runs. Doesn't look good, but it still runs.
Do we have a sweet spoiler that someone's added aftermarket?
Oh,
Oh,
absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
Well, that's all I really care about.
Yeah, and if without a cold air intake, I don't even know what you're doing. What a time. Well, then, I believe that we move with some discretion and urgency once we get to that world to figure out what's going on. Now, we do have to run this ruse. I cannot, with enough fervor, state that the ruse is important, because if they find out that Corwinius is dead, they will turn on us and take this ship and run away, and we will be stuck on a world alone and dead.
You bring up a good point, Gage. A good point indeed. What do we do about the body? Do we keep it? Burn it?
I
Eat
believe
it?
that we Dongo! Dongo, no! It has to go through a processor first. You know that.
Stuff it?
I think that juice ain't quite worth the squeeze, buddy.
Don't go like taxidermy.
You know, I find something new about you every day. I like that. I like that about you, Dongo.
I picture a bunch of horribly taxidermied animals and humans in Dongo's quarters.
Well, his agility is very low. And he has giant hands.
Everything's a hand. Everything's a sock puppet to Dongo.
It's so many terrible visuals. LTR. Is there any elven magics that can help us with any of this? I forgive my ignorance. I don't know.
We could destroy the corpse with an eldritch storm.
Pardon if I may. I think we should not resort to heresy just yet. I can burn a nice, funeral pyre, have a proper ceremony without the need for this magical elven mumbo
But
jumbo.
disintegrating it would be much more efficient.
Oh,
You know-
it's just the
Less?
same as burning.
Be much quicker.
You know, there's validity in both in what you say. So what I will say is let's hide him in a box. Let's not taxidermy him. I think that would be a terrible idea.
No!
Well, he is. I can't imagine it goes well, buddy. So we'll put him in a box, we'll hide him, and we'll lock him in his quarters. Now, what we need is a very convincing series of audio logs that come from where he is in his quarters that play over time. And while we're traveling, we're just going to create a lot of them. And hopefully, somebody doesn't come around and hears the repeat. That would be the goal. That the loop never truly ends. So that would be my best plan for keeping this under wraps. It's not like they're going to barge into his room. We just got to keep him from wanting to.
That sounds like a good plan to me.
So who has the technical abilities to do this? Number one.
Dongo!
Not Dongo.
And if none of you do, who do you bring on into your ruse? Who do you trust? So I guess there is the Mechanicus guy on the lower decks. Just to point out, he's fixing your spoiler that took some damage on your.
Yeah, our Mechanicus guy, I'm pretty sure, is our homie. So
So we'll go grab him.
yeah, we'll discreetly bring him up to fashion this, and then the running orders are going to be to record all is to everybody to have a nice can of corpse paste, and then to record the after effects, and to do their best slightly stuttering impression of writhing in agony of stomach pain. And we will do this until we arrive at station. Is there any
What if instead of doing
arguments?
recordings, we say that he like had a seizure and is currently in like unable to speak, and then we just did something like that, and then just kind of like put him in the medical bay like he's still alive and on life support. Counter idea.
You know that would be logical. It would be logical.
Tiburos 4 now obviously doesn't show much emotion.
Planet?
As his face is, yeah, he is here. The planet, the myth, the legend, Tiburos 4. But his head does kind of jerk when you start talking about a dead person pretending to be alive, because he doesn't know what's going on. He's
not seen Weekend at Bernie's. He doesn't know.
No, he doesn't know. He doesn't know. He says,
Oh,
why have I been brought here?
well, we need your technical expertise to fool everyone.
He says, lying is not in my programming.
Well, luckily you won't have to do any lying. You're just going to help us make something.
What do you need fabricating?
I need a little speaker fabricated that is the normal volume of a human speaking and yelling in some agony.
He says, like a servitor skull?
Yeah, that'll work.
He says, this could probably be done.
Great.
Says, this is a list of parts that I would need.
Excellent. We will get right on this. And
what is my specimen?
Your specimen is going to be, you mean our voice samples?
Who am I putting the mic inside?
Oh, you don't have to put the mic inside of anyone. It's just going to be hanging on a door or out inside of a room.
Dunko is really disappointed and would like to boo this really loudly.
I am not programmed to deceive.
You're not.
But in my logical thinkings, a box caster on a door is not very deceiving to make people think a person is alive.
But you do it on the other side of the door.
What if they see?
Well, they just never open the door. You put a sick man is in this room sign on the door.
The flesh is weak. This is true.
Yeah, totally.
I just want to acknowledge that we've moved from Weekend at Bernie's to Ferris Bueller's Day Off in like 3 minutes. That's all.
He says, find me my parts and I can do it. I would like to live inside of the room to ensure the ruse is continued in case of technical difficulties.
I think that ain't the worst idea.
I would also like to have free range to experiment upon the body.
That is not acceptable. I'm sorry. You cannot do that.
Father Huck gets all worked up.
Acceptable.
Body was promised to Dungo.
Do you want any other things in the room so that you're amused?
No need.
Great. Well, let's go on a parts hunt.
All right. You guys will send off different crew members to get the parts and whatnot. So sure enough, 2.5 days or so pass, and the ship eventually will break out of a separate manifold point and come into a new system. in this system, there's a lot of planets, but the planet that you're traveling to is one that is white and small and appears to be covered in ice and snow. And you guys come up to the bridge where Naira has summoned you. She's disappointed again to not see Corwinius, but she has heard the daily broadcastings of his gastrointestinal pain. So she does understand why he's not here. There's no need to try to persuade her.
That's great to hear.
And she says, yes, so this is where the coordinates took us. I'm assuming you know what this is. The planet shows up on our records as Giladiria Prime.
Oh, absolutely. Giladaria Prime is exactly where we knew we were going. We're gonna get down there, find some information, and that's gonna help us out with all that kerfuffle we just got out of.
She says, I definitely hope so, because the crew hasn't been paid in almost 2 years. And while now food is pretty great, and a place to live is pretty great, people are gonna be wanting to get paid here pretty soon.
Oh,
Just so you know.
oh yeah, we are. That is priority one. Make sure everybody gets their money, and we can just continue being what we are, which is awesome, right? Right, Naira?
Looks a little confused, but she's like, yes.
Hey, dang tootin'. That's right. That's right. Right, Father Hook.
That's right. That's right.
She
Lead
says,
us the crew in a great imperial sermon before we embark on this great adventure.
Come now, all of you scallywags, mutants, elves.
I flick on the
And
shipwide
humans.
box.
Yeah. Come now and rejoice in the light and day that the Emperor has blessed us with. Let us embark for riches, for glory, and for retribution against that evil governor scallywag. In the Emperor's name, may we travel safely.
Close it off.
Naira looks a little confused because she was like, are we paying the governor?
Yeah, don't worry about it. We're just trying to liven everybody up, you know?
She says, all right, okay. She says, now before you guys leave, I have some very important information for you. So this is a very hostile world for human life. That's what all the scans just came in, and the world itself appears to be consistently minus 30 degrees at all times. Very, very cold. So luckily, though, Corwinius always believed in having a well-stocked hostile environment suit loadout for everyone that goes on these missions. For now, the last couple times the suits have been faulty, everybody died, but we've worked through that, and minus 30 isn't as cold as the last place we went.
Shorts weather.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. Actually, that's not true. Dongo did survive the last mission.
Good job,
Dongo!
Right, he did survive the last mission. I forgot. But yes, there'll be hostile environment suits for everyone. But to point things out, from what we can see, this is a mining world. It's been a mining world for quite a long time. So it seems the shipment log that we've seen here, the shipments have started to kind of lessen. So what can be pertained is that it's probably running out of resources. But there seems to be train tracks that crisscross all over the surface of the land. And there's like 7 or 8 small kind of cities. They're more like mining shanty towns. But the climate of this planet is so hostile and the weather's so cold that aircraft actually can't fly in the upper atmospheres. The only place where you're going to be able to bring down your landers is inside the towns, because they have these heated gravity wells that the Mechanicus has placed in, so that people are able to dock their ships and fly landers up to the surface. So you're going to have to go down into one of the towns.
All right. Based on the slate, was there anything, or any of the data that we found, was there any town in particular that came across?
She says, not that you can see from the sheet itself, from the data slate itself, but the largest town is always the best place to start asking questions, is what Corwinius always used to say.
I think he's right. Let's go find the grimiest bar in the biggest town and start knocking on doors.
She says, fair enough. Well, I wish you luck in your quest. I'll make sure the hostile environment suits are brought down to the landing deck. And just remember, don't fly our last Arvis slider outside of the heat well. Otherwise, it's not going to go great. Don't let Dongo fly.
Understood.
We've learned that. Don't let him fly.
All right. You hear that, Dongo? No flying.
So she'll send you guys on your way, more or less. So you can gather up your equipment. I'm assuming the Reverend probably leaves one last service for the crew before he heads out.
Absolutely.
But I'm pretty sure this would be a mission that all 5 of you are going to embark on, as this is rather important.
Yes.
And the ruse must be upheld, so no crew are probably brought along, is my guess.
No, definitely not.
No.
We are the spear tip and only the tip.
Perfect. All right, wonderful. Is this a good place to take a break, Colin, for stuff to get set up? And then, as we've come about an hour here.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's take 5.
Take 5. Right
Yeah.
on.
Thanks everyone who's watching. We're going to let everybody take 5 to stretch the legs and use the restroom, and I'm going to get us set up for the next scene, and we'll be right back.
How do I take the 5? Do I just pause the camera?
You
mute
can
myself?
just take yourself out of the room and then add yourself back to the room when you're ready,
Okay.
like this. I did it for him. And here we all are again. We're back, everybody.
Hello, hello, hello. Okay. Got everybody back. Wonderful. So jumping us back into it. You guys are all aboard the Arvis Slider. Dongo's a little nervous. Doesn't ever likes being on the ship. Which makes sense why it wasn't a good idea for him to fly it the last couple times.
Don't like darkness.
It's true. It's true. That's why there's a huge big like light ring that had to be installed for him. Keeps everything sterilized white. Perfect. So the Arvis Slider starts taking you guys down through the gravity well. You got to be kind of careful because it's not super big. So you kind of have to circle your way down into the tiny little podunk spaceport, more or less. That's mostly, I mean, there's no room for any sort of docking of large ships. That has to be done out, and everything has to be brought up by lighter, which is pretty small time, to be completely honest. But as you guys come down to the surface of the planet, you'll land and you'll be hailed by the tower. And so I guess number one, I believe that Altok would be flying this. He flew it last time. Isn't that correct?
Probably. Yeah.
He was the most least competent though. We might want to recheck the.
That's true.
Yeah.
Who is probably the best at flying this said Arvis Slider? Because I know Altiok did it last time, but does anybody else have any particular high skills in that intelligence field?
Doesn't seem like it.
Father Huck is a simple man.
I don't know much about flying.
Altiok thinks he's much smarter than everybody here, but he's actually not.
Does that still make Altiok the smartest dumb person in the room?
We're tied,
Probably not.
actually.
All right,
So,
perfect.
Is it
So
flown
what-
with
so-
intelligence or is it flown with agility?
Oh, agility. I'm sorry. This probably would be flown
Oh.
with agility. So
yeah,
some
yeah,
people
no.
might be more better off. I think that's why it was such a no-brainer for Altiok
Yes.
to fly it last time, as he is very bendy.
Yes, I believe that is the case.
All right, Altiok, we're going to make me a roll.
Incredible.
Let's get
We're
us down to
looking
the
for a
planet.
60 plus 10 because of unnatural agility. So we will roll a 9 and we'll have many
Very
degrees of
nice.
success.
This simple human craft, and on top of that, this year of Arvis Lighter, while simple, incredibly customizable, but simple, is just perfect for maneuverability. That's why all the cool Arvis lighter street racers prefer this type. Even in its old age, that's why it still sells for 2,000 Imperial credits.
Is it a Harvest Lighter RSX?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, very nice. Absolutely. So you'll land, and as you land, whoever's manning the Vox system, you guys can choose. You'll hear basically a little, like, it's very reedy, super bad Vox. And a voice will come across it and say, "Identify yourself."
I guess that's me. Coming in hot. Name's Gage. Coming in for some quick supplies.
They say, "There's no supplies on this planet.
Oh
Are
no,
you supplying us?"
oh no, don't worry. There's a small cache that was left for us.
Oh, the person sounds dubious, but checks your credentials. There aren't any at least 2 outstanding of warrants upon you that they can see. Of course, there's probably is actually the governor's warrants, but they're so behind on this system that they don't see it yet. But you guys will come down and you'll land. Are you all hopping into your cold weather exosuits? Though inside the city, it is only like 5 degrees. It's not minus 30 because of the heat well. But
Yes.
you don't have to be in them yet, I suppose. But it probably wouldn't be a bad idea either.
Yeah, I feel like it's a good idea.
It could be like zip down, a little chest hair poking out.
That's right.
Casual look.
I like it. So you guys will land, and you have your trusty Torox transport that is in the bay of the Arvis Lighter as well. That it's still looking pretty good. That your Tech Priest fan tuned it up, actually made it even run a little better than it did before.
Hey, it's not smoking anymore.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, you guys need to find out where the heck the where you can get these plans for your great treasure are.
And we had. Sorry to clarify. Did we have a name of a person? I'll take notes next time. I promise.
Oh, you're good. No, you did not have a name of a person.
Oh.
But basically, what you have was that some old space timer. He told Corwinius that there was a great treasure, very dangerous mission to get it, but more or less the treasure would pay off all of your debt.
Okay.
And it was on this planet. At least the map to this treasure was on this planet. So somebody somewhere is going to have to know something, I would assume.
Well, I think we should always start at the bar. I believe it's the best place to go because that's where people go when climates like this one. Maybe
the group actually came up with a process for this last time, for going to the bar and finding a
Yes, this is true.
There was a whole system where we go
There
into the
was.
bar and we just yell loudly about who we're looking for, and it worked great.
It was incredible.
Yeah.
Speaking
All
of
the success.
scenarios, let's take a quick moment before we get out there. All right, I know. Huck, you're a great, invaluable asset, and there will be heresy on this planet. I promise you. And one of them, I promise you. We will get dead if that is the case. So we must be careful. LTR, nobody likes you. I like you. I think you're an okay fella. But they don't. Dongo, sometimes you don't got to crush everything in front of you. And if we manage to be direct in our intent, we won't have to murder our way out of here. I think that is just what I want to remind all of us. I know, Dongo, I know. But there will always come the time when we must murder our way out of a situation. And that's why we are as good as we are at what we do. Is that right, boys?
That's
So
right.
How does everybody? I would like everyone to describe to our audience the weapons they carry and how they prepare them for quick use if need be.
I don't have a subtle way to stop this. Somebody's making a lot of background noise that the recording's picking up. Whoever's fiddling and tapping your desk, let's watch it out. Sorry, I don't have a way to tell the group that. Go ahead.
No
Go, Derek.
fiddling, Nicholas.
It was definitely me.
Great fiddler.
If it's good, push to talk is a thing. If anybody, just as a heads up. Okay, continuing.
So let's see here. So Gage, even so, he's got obviously the exosuit on, but over the exosuit, his duster is always, he's duster always because he's a cowboy in 40K. And on one on his near like his waist and one on his hip, there are 2 slung pistols, 1 bolt pistol, 1 plasma pistol. Got the
Pretty
Doc
fancy.
Holliday thing going.
I like it. All right. How about you, Father Huck? What are you packing? Getting ready for just in case things get hairy.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Father Huck first has to make sure that his what do you call handlebar mustache is prime, absolutely like curled all the way up. That his goatee is perfect. It's part of the weaponry, I promise. He makes sure to stash a bunch of like cigars in his big wide brimmed hat. It's more like a sun hat, really, but it's dirty and dusty. But yeah, otherwise, he'll strap to his back his giant like macro hammer. It's radiating with energy, right? As one does. And then he's got something, some heat packed in his little exo suit. It kind of bulges out. It's a nice big flamer, super embroidered with like, yeah. But those like spurs, it's got like spurs everywhere that he likes to just spin every now and then just because.
Oh yeah,
A flavor with like boot spurs all over it.
Oh yeah.
A very spur forward crew, I think, just based on the
yeah.
accents at this stage.
Yeah.
Dongo, y'all.
That's right.
My the most important part. I'm so sorry. Father Huck actually has like a blind eye, right? And he's got this like monocle, right? That he will then detach and attach to his flamer as like a reticle, which he then uses as one good eye to look down.
Let's see.
Okay. But the monocle's over his blind eye.
Of
normally.
course. Yeah,
Okay.
well, it helps him see better through that eye. So.
Oh, I see. Okay, that makes sense.
Also helps with conversation. We all know it's weird.
definitely. Oh, Altiak, what does your weaponry look like as you prepare?
Altiak keeps it pretty simplistic. He's wearing like generic robes. They're like kind of embroidered. They look like they have certain engravings on the side. And then he just carries like a basic staff. It is legitimately just looks like a gnarled tree trunk with like a little gem on the end or a branch. Looks super simple, very basic.
Very nice. And
Dongo, of course, has taken a stop sign out of the ground and has had it converted into a powered weapon. Now, I will comment to the audience that we do not have models for the party yet, but that is well underway. For now, you will see that there is a Farseer, there is a person who is kind of a priest, there is a person who is kind of a rogue trader, and there is a Bulgrin. So, there you have it.
what more could you ask for?
Exactly right. And it is actually a Torok, so I got that going for me.
Exactly. All right, perfect. So you guys are ready. Your weapons are ready. You're ready if the poop hits the fan. You climb into your Toroks, all of you. Dongo, of course, head and shoulders out of the top that opens. Yep. That's right. Gotta be able to get the fresh air. It is kind of cold though.
He only will take vehicles that have fire in deck.
It's important. All right. And so as you pull into the city streets. It's like a ramshackle, just post-industrial mess. You've got all these old warehouses that at one point were used for refining materials. They're all dilapidated and rusted. And you can see there's like candles and little gaps through the corrugated steel. And people are living in them now, but they can't be comfortable, but they're making do with what they got. There's lots of little like vendors and street stalls as you go with selling all kinds of weird stuff from live game to more pieces of metal that have been ripped off the buildings.
Broken
Building
light
metal,
bulbs,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. Maybe some broken light bulbs. I don't know. I think that was the last planet's.
That was going to be my question. So I literally was about to ask if there was a broken light bulbs vendor. So
You might have to look really hard. There could be one here. You
how
never
about
know.
taxidermy? Dongo's now interested in taxidermy.
As there is a pretty large hunting scene here.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure that there's most likely a taxidermist, but I do kind of have a feeling that most of the furs that are taken off of the wild beasts are probably used for warmth. But there's probably some rich guys that got some taxidermy animals somewhere.
okay.
But as you're cruising along, yeah, how are you going to find the seediest bar in town? I imagine Altiok's driving again with his bendable body.
Yes.
I think we have to point ourselves in the direction of like the miniest area, so like the most industrialized sector of this, I'm sure, very industrial town.
Yeah, you see some smokestacks that are actually belching some dark smoke still, so probably a good idea to go that way.
Yeah, it seems like a good plan.
So as the Toroks kind of, how fast is that? Altiok, how fast do you drive down these streets?
Incredibly fast. No regard for people in the way.
Okay, make me a driving check just to make sure you don't hit anybody. But
Sounds like a good idea.
I'm not convinced he's not aiming for them.
I will pass.
so,
Handedly, even.
due to Dongo's screamed instructions from his perch, you are able to expertly avoid hitting any civilians as you.
Altiok perfectly understands the word.
Eltok figured out that right is actually left and left is actually right, but it's fine.
Exactly.
But it's only
Exactly.
every third right that's left. So that means
Exactly. There's a
the formula
code.
has been cracked.
Because that's the big problem when Dongo's standing up in the thing is that oftentimes his stop sign is always ready, which unfortunately means it's over the windshield a lot of times. So it can kind of be hard to see. So it's super vital, your guys' communication. But so, yeah, you guys come ripping down through the streets, going crazy fast. People are like yelling at you as you go by. And there's kind of like old ladies crossing the street, getting dived and tackled by civilians. And as you pull up in front of this like gigantic smokestacks and mining warehouse, you can see like a line of dudes and people, I should say, both men and women, going inside of the factory, and then a line coming out. And of this line coming out, they all seem to be just filing into this one big building across the street. But the street is completely blocked. There is no missing this line. You cannot. I guess you could try to jump it somehow, but
Well, I do believe we found the local watering hole.
Yeah, it seems like a good place to scope out.
yeah. So you'll come to a screeching stop, and I imagine Altiok, you do that slow roll down the window, and
Definitely.
do you accost one of these marching, just drudgerously marching individuals?
Yes. You, human! What is this place?
The guy rubs smoke-stained eyes with hands that only have like 2 fingers on each of them due to horrendous factory accidents. And he's got 2 hang looses.
It's 4 total fingers.
It's
I want to
4
know.
total-
Okay, so
2 hang looses.
Like Kyle said, he's hanging loose all the time.
All the time.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah,
All right.
all the time.
I'm sorry. I just want to make sure I'm following along.
Oh, I totally understand. So as you pull up, this guy uses his hang loose fingers to rub his eyes. He looks up to you and he's like, and he waves, and and so and repeat your question to him because he had his earmuffs over his ears.
What is this place?
He says, "Well, this is the refinery, of course.
Altiok.
How do you not know? Everyone works here."
Definitely, for sure. Is there any parking around here?
He says,
I thought we were looking for a bar. I really am lost.
"Yeah, Mungo from the top bar."
Altiok notes this down and goes, "Yeah, you're probably right, actually. But the refinery should be checked next. Lots of people here."
The guy successfully removes a bunch of smoke staining from his eyelid, and he says, "Nice to meet you. My name's Crowbar Mike."
Nice to meet you, Crowbar. Where's the bar around here?
He says, "You see this line of people that is going into that other building?
Yeah,
That's the bar.
amazing.
It's set up. It's prime real estate. We all get off shift. We spend our credits we just earned on some food and drink, and then we sleep for the 4 hours we're allotted before going back to work."
Dongo.
Sounds like a wonderful life.
Living the dream.
Crowbar chuckles, and he's like, "It's pretty good."
You don't call him Mike, you say a Crowbar? His
That's his
name's
first
Mike?
name.
Yeah, no, I was about to say Altiok not understanding how names work is just like Crowbar. Cool. Last name Mike.
What? Hey, Crowbar.
He's like, "Yeah."
Why do they call you Crowbar?
He says, "That's all I can operate."
Really?
He says, "Yeah."
How?
It's like he does this, and he shows you how he can pull a crowbar.
That must be. You have really strong pinkies.
He says, "Oh yeah." He says, "I win every thumb wrestling contest."
I bet. Crowbar, I don't suppose you might be able to tell us. Do you know of any treasure hunters in the area? Maybe somebody who's been ranting on about some crazy thing?
He says, "Definitely not me, as all I do is work, crowbar, and sleep." But
I bet, yeah.
he says there is a bunch of hunters that supply a lot of the food to this fine establishment across the way. And they might have some information for you about some sort of maybe treasure hunters. I know some of them come back with some funny things they find out at the old abandoned mine shafts.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Crowbar. You're a 1 in a billion type. You know that?
He says, "Yeah, dude.
Hang loose.
Hang loose." He heads across the street. I want to point out of character, I apologize, but it is incredible that we're in a mining town talking about mine shafts on the week of the Minecraft movie release.
Oh,
True story.
wow.
I'm just saying, it's incredible. Okay, anyway.
As they're leaving, Dongo's going to comment, "Dongo better at Crowbar."
Don't
You
tell
know-
Mike that.
Sometimes you got to give little people their wins, Dongo.
Everyone little.
I know. You're so big. And when you are so big, sometimes you got to let people have small victories. You
Dongo
know,
like when you say Dongo big.
You're huge, Dongo. You're a big man. Nobody can fuck with Dongo, right?
Dongo.
Sorry.
All right, perfect. So I'm imagining you,
To the lodge.
Altiok, will park where he seems fit, which is probably right there.
Exactly. Yeah, right in the middle. Blocking the roads.
There doesn't seem to be a
No one
great
has
deal of
cars here
traffic.
Anyway, so,
No,
yeah.
you have not seen another vehicle. Just like a couple dudes pushing carts and mine carts that have been reworked into wheelbarrows.
This is how Altiok envisions the entirety of the Imperium. Just one scene right here.
Oh, that's pretty funny. All right. Oh, what happened? There we go. 1 second. I have a technical difficulties. Sorry, everybody. There we go. Did he? Yeah. Okay, perfect. So, as you guys cross into the bar, you walk in and you see it's kind of like a German beer house to a degree. There's long tables that stretch out, enough to seat probably 300, 400 workers. There is an arm wrestling table off to the edge where guys are betting. There's a thumb wrestling table. You know who's there. And that's already he's reaping in the rewards because of those strong thumbs. but I bet you Dongo could make some serious money here. Just saying.
Yeah, I'm really working hard not to just completely derail us right now with all the things Dongo wants to do in this bar.
Whether it's a drinking contest or thumb wrestling contest.
Yeah, Dongo could be here for days.
Exactly.
In
So-
fact, we're going to say that Dongo is waiting outside guarding the Torox because that will allow me to behave myself.
Seems like a good idea.
We'll stroll in and we'll kind of like, I'll certainly start scanning the room. I don't know what the other guys are doing, but I'm scanning the room looking for what would be the hunters.
Yeah, I'm also doing that.
So sure enough, as you actually ever make me awareness check. Make me an awareness check. There's a lot of people in this room. And the constant line of those filing in and out only makes it more chaotic.
Altioc sees nothing.
Say your rolls out loud, guys.
Yeah.
Rolled a 95.
16 for Gage.
Oh, yeah. 96 for Huck. I don't see nothing. I'm looking out my good eye or my, yeah.
You're blinded by the depravity that surrounds you. Or just like completely like the opportunity completely has overwhelmed you. So many souls to be converted to the Emperor's light. Altioc, this is disgusting. You're just not looking at
Terrible
anything.
place. Yeah.
And then, sure enough, Gage, as you look around the bar, you'll see up near the front, there's kind of like this raised dais where people are like playing cards. And at that, you see all these guys, and they look pretty mean. They got like earrings, lots of tattoos, long hair, beards, kind of like a wildling in Game of Thrones, to give you some idea. and they all like are wearing like weird like spotted pelts, fur, and they have their guns and all kinds of just funky exotic weapons, and they all just seem to be sitting around playing cards, but it's just with them. It doesn't really seem like any of the miners are interacting with them too much.
Well, I believe we found our hunters. So what do you say we go have a quick chat?
Altioc is convinced those are not hunters because he did not see them, but he'll agree.
Don't worry, I'll take you through. I grew up in a hive. It's fine. Come on.
So you'll follow Gage. Gage, how do you approach these rough country gentlemen?
I will approach with make a little stop, drop a few credits on some of the finest booze that they have, and approach with a couple pictures of it, I suppose, and then just set them down on the table and say, I don't suppose of you gentlemen might be willing to entertain us with a conversation.
The first guy, he says, my name's Pike. And he says, if you're giving us that picture of fine drink, then we'd probably speak some words with you.
Excellent. That, I believe, is a great wise thing. Yes, this picture is for you, boys.
He grabs it and he basically just picks it up and chugs half of it right there, slams it down. The other guys grab it and drink it pretty quickly.
Good man. Good man. Now that's the kind of drinker that I like. Now, we might have a few questions for you here. We're curious. You're the grand explorers of this area, are you not?
I suppose we hunt the greatest predators and we provide the settlement with meat. I don't think there's anything more badass than that.
Yeah, I think that you fellers are the true lifeblood of this place. Without you, nothing goes.
He seems you've made him feel pretty good about himself. He sees a like-minded individual and he says, "Yeah, well, what can I help you guys with?"
You know, we came hearing of rumors of some kind of ruin out there, some kind of treasure in the region, something very dangerous to get to, whether it's a rumor or whether it's some crazy thing that's happening, we are searching around because we ourselves, like you, are explorers after the heart of the wild.
The heart of the wild. Yeah. So he sees a kindred spirit in you, and he says, "There is a treasure on this planet, but it's guarded by a great beast. A beast that even we're afraid of. Everyone that tries to go near it is dismembered and burned. It breathes fire and has thousands of sharp teeth." He says, "Well, many a hunter has died trying to find this treasure."
It must truly be something of grand terrifyingness if it chases away such strong fellers like yourselves.
He says, he says, "We don't even go there anymore. It's one of the original mining sites. It was abandoned maybe like, I don't know, 20 years after the settlement was founded. That's what the tales say, at least. But every year, someone shows up looking for this. They go out there, and then before you know it, their body parts start being drug in by the wild animals."
Can you tell us where it is? I think we want to try our hand at checking it out.
He says, "I'd hate to see you be dismembered and burned, but if you feel like you're up to the task, I'm not a man to stop another man from exploring."
That's good. Thank you so much for helping us out. Would you be willing to maybe even guide us? You don't have to go into the area, but a guide would be immensely helpful.
He says, "No way, Jose." Or Gage,
Who's
I
Jose?
suppose. He says, "No way, Gage. I can't do it. I've lost 2 brothers to this monster. None of us here will go near that place. But
I
what you do is you take the old mine train out, and you'll probably want to load up your transport onto it. There should be a crane or something. You can pay somebody to do it. You'll load your transport up onto it, and you'll go as far as the track will go. And then from there, there's an old transfer yard. You'll hop out on your transport, and you'll drive. And he kind of takes out like this like weird sort of like splotchy cured skin, and he will you'll draw like a little route on it. And he says, you'll go up through the mountains, and at the top is the lair of the beast."
Okay. Pike, what were your brothers' names?
He says, "Wilson and Fritz."
I put up, I notion to Huck and Altiok, raise a glass to Wilson and Fritz.
Altiok raises his water.
Don't mind him. It's fine.
He's a weirdie. Yeah, no. So you'll cheers, and he says, "Best of luck to you. Best of luck to you." And you'll start heading out.
We give the adventurer's handshake, the forearm grip, and move on because it's what you do.
100%.
And remember
Absolutely.
to say your prayers to the Emperor every day, gentlemen.
They say, before the hunt. Absolutely, before the hunt. And then as you guys will head out, sure enough, Altiok will file back into the Torox. Dongo's kept it safe. He even's won a couple arm wrestling contests out there because there's not a lot to do here. Is people just arm wrestle. It's like that Budweiser commercial.
And people stopped wanting to hear him talk about how much better he is at crowbarring than Crowbar Mike, so they had to distract him with something else.
They absolutely had to, 100%. And luckily, Crowbar Mike didn't hear about this slander, so all's well. So, all right. So you guys will hop in the Torox, and sure enough, the train yards are right up there, and you'll be able to pay someone to load up the Torox into the crane, or with load the Torox into the train with the crane, and you will set on your way. This is an old train, but it still works. And as you guys head out, you basically were told that none of the cars are temperature controlled anymore, so you should just stay in your vehicle. And so you're sitting on a vehicle on a moving train going forward. It takes about 2 hours, and you go out into these like snowy wastes. The mountains are all around you. There's lots of like old mine shafts, like markers and stuff like that you see as you're driving through. But you'll reach the said transfer yard, the last stop, and they'll roll the ramp out. Altiok will drive the Torox down. And as you come down, the train, the conductor of the train, he leans out of the front part of it, the only heated place. And he says, it's weird to take 2 groups of people out here in one day.
Oh, someone else came along. Who was it?
He says, some mean looking fellas. They had 2 of your things and all dressed up in armor with guns. And they said they were going up to deal with the beast.
Fascinating. I don't suppose they identified themselves or were any particular colors of any of familiarity.
He says, I've never seen them before. They're dressed in shiny black armor.
Okay. Well, thanks for that. I hope we run into them at some point.
It might be blue. It could be black, but it might be blue.
Yeah.
Is there maybe like some kind of check that any of us could run to see if there is some kind of history check in this system?
Yeah, someone on your sheets you should have common lore information.
Oh,
Another
yes.
question beforehand too would be: does that sound like the people we met when me and Dongo were exploring the one bar?
Those people were, they were armored, but it doesn't sound like they were like uniformed like these guys were potentially.
Okay, so this sounds different, right?
It does sound different. Still worrisome, but different.
I do have common lore Imperium. Would that be something I could attempt here? Cool.
Go ahead and make me a roll off that. That's probably intelligence, I would assume.
It is, yeah. Gage rolls a 5.
Wow.
And I have a plus 10, I believe.
So you're able to coerce the conductor of the train to more or less show you a data slate from the one working camera on this transfer yard. And as you do, you see through the grainy image, it does appear to be 2 transports and a group of about 15 individuals or so. They're all dressed up in kind of, like I said, seems like black carapace armor. And you don't see any markings that you would necessarily recognize, but these guys, either they remind you of like a hit squad, an unmarked hit squad. That's what it reminds you of.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I believe these fellers might be trouble. So let's be head on a swivel. Right, Dongo?
Dongo.
Alrighty. Altiok, give us another agility test for that driving, and we're going to head off towards the lair of the beast.
I will roll a 20.
Very nice. So snow's no problem for the trusty Torox with its tracks. So sure enough, going at still pretty breakneck speeds, you guys will take off through the mountains on this kind of like trek. You can actually see there are two tracks in the snow that you guys are following from the prior vehicles, you're assuming, as you guys go off after it. As you're driving along, you'll notice one of the tracks peels off to the left and the other one keeps going forward. But there's nothing to be seen in either way.
Which one looks the most recent of the tracks?
Well, they were going at the same time. One just peeled off.
Oh, I see. Makes sense.
Best to look out for an ambush then. Does the tracks that peel off, does that go maybe up?
Yes.
Okay. What do you boys think? Maybe we should go up those and see if we can get what is likely the hit squad.
Must go up to go down.
That's wise words, Dongo.
All right, so Altiok will drive you up the slope, and as you it's a slower climb because it is pretty steep, but you'll climb up the slope. Luckily, again, the Torox is an incredible vehicle, arguably the best vehicle in 40K. And as you,
It's not like they're going to sponsor us, Bailey.
You never know. I want another Torox, man.
Brought to you
Okay.
by Torok.
No.
Look, just because the model is tiny doesn't make it the best vehicle in 40K, okay?
Whoa. Perfect. So as you climb the hill when the Torox, more or less, keeping your head on a swivel, Dongo, I want you to make me an awareness check.
Uh-oh.
I know it's going to be kind of rough, but
This is not going to go wonderfully, but we're going to do it.
yeah, but your head's up out of the thing. You're looking
I
around.
believe in Dongo.
39.
Is that a pass?
I have no idea.
Let's take a look.
I'm doing other things.
Yep. Looks like I got logged out. Would someone take a look at Dongo's sheet for me?
For
Is a
the
39
listeners,
pass?
we're going to grab everybody's character sheets and make them images I can tile through for next time.
Yeah.
He
that's-
has a 36 in perception.
I'm gonna take the game master's choice here and call that a pass because that's pretty freaking close.
Dongo!
That's right.
Let's go, Dongo.
Dongo! Dongo!
And as you're looking out from the top of the vehicle, you will see down below there seems to be one of the vehicles stopped in the middle of the way with some black armored figures around it. And as you're coming up above, you'll notice there's another vehicle parked up there, but you're not seeing anybody around that one.
Okay. So, all right, boys, they might have heard us coming or saw us coming, or we should all take a closer look around to see if any of us might be able to find where they're located.
I'm sorry, you want Dongo to pass 2 perception tests in a row?
No, Dongo already did. Good job.
Good. I'm glad.
So looking for those figures, seeing if they're hidden anywhere, anything of that nature. And I think I have awareness. Yeah, I'm pretty good at awareness. Okay.
I'd like to use the science skill to try to look
There's
for their souls.
Bailey,
in
there's
the
no
world.
buildings here. It's just like a big open.
Mostly. No, necessarily buildings around this area right away.
Okay.
I'm blind. Gauge roll of 96.
No, looking around, you don't see anything. And then what are you doing, Altiok? You're doing a cine science check.
Yes, to look for their souls in the warp. See if I can detect them that way. I'll roll a 27. It's an agility of 85 in total, or a perception of 85 after counting the science skill. So it'll be 5 degrees of success.
Incredible. So you reach out your mind around the areas, and in fact, you do sense that there are quite a few souls around you. But then when you look with your eyes, you don't necessarily see anything. But again, when you use that warp touch, I don't know. Did Eldar use the warp? Is it the warp? I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did
it
he
would
use
be
the warp? Okay. All right.
They do, yeah.
So you reach out with your warp touch, and you do sense that there's at least 13 individuals pretty close to your guys' position.
I'd like to voice that. There are at least 14 individuals in our vicinity.
Oh, throne goddess.
Dongo's going to pretend he understands what 14 is. Dongo!
A large amount.
And as Dongo lifts his stop sign up, you hear a as the head of the stop sign goes ping, as a sniper bullet from the 2 figures down below will in fact hit the sign that Dongo was holding. And as you're drawn to look at the sniper's bullet, you're going to hear a loud, kind of like a distant whooshing noise, and you're going to see a propelled missile come flying up towards your vehicle. What do you do, Altiok?
I would. Can I make a dodge roll with the vehicle? Is that a thing I
Yeah,
get to
absolutely. Yeah, get out of the way.
do? Amazing. I would like to avoid the missile. And I assume I will. It's just a 65, so it'll be 4 degrees of success.
Very nice. So yeah, you gun it, and you basically go pretty much all the way up to your Torox will go basically toe to toe with the other Torox right in front of you. And as you do that, you immediately see all these figures in the snow surrounding you guys rip off camo cloaks that they had covering themselves, and they rise up out of the snow with they seem to be holding some sort of like assault weapons or shotguns. They've got your Torox almost completely surrounded. There's 13 of them but one of them is standing kind of near the back of the Torox, and you put out when you reached out with your warp sentience, Altiok, something reached back, and you sensed a powerful mind there.
Cool.
One who is also versed in the ways of the warp,
So there is another Psyker here.
and a sniper, and a guy with a missile launcher down by the other Torox. So I think you guys might be surrounded.
So it would seem.
Like everybody, roll me initiative. So roll me.
I would like the group to decide, do we want the iconic Astropath or the iconic Primaris Psyker model? Both metal. Anyone?
Primary
Psyker.
Psyker is my vote.
All right, Primaris Psyker it is.
Is that the one with the cool chest plate? And he's like stepping forward. Oh yeah, I love that model.
Yeah. I'll get a better shot on him in a minute.
That's a cool model. It's gonna be an 18 for my initiative.
An 18.
Yeah.
Very good.
Could someone roll for Dongo, please?
Yes, I'll roll for Dongo. A 12. No, 13. 13.
What is the initiative roll? How does it work? Just 2d10 again?
So it's a D10 plus your agility bonus.
Oh, okay. And that's for every 10. Is that a bonus up?
Yeah. So like if your agility is like a 50, you'll have an agility bonus of a 5.
Okay, cool. So I got 11.
11. Okay.
I got a 33.
So roll me one dice, Kyle.
Oh, whoops.
One of those. Yeah, you're good.
I'm so sorry. 10.
A 10. Okay. Perfect. Okay. It'll be perfect. So, Altiok, no one ambushes in a Farseer, as we learned last time.
Exactly.
He sees all, and you've already seen this in your mind's eye. Though it's a little shakier than it was last time because there is a dangerous psyker involved with this group who seems to be also pretty powerful. But yes, but you've got 13 guys around you.
Cool. I would like to start by
And
casting...
and the Toroxes should be quite close together now, as the one Torox had to gun forward to avoid the missile.
I see. So risking friendly fire if it is.
Yes, you are right. All of you are right up next to these guys. Have perfectly surrounded you. It's a well-planned and dangerous ambush.
We have a sniper up here. We have people surrounding the group here. This is us back here.
Yep.
We're going to get on a vehicle in a second. Then we got some more people here. We got our missile launcher guy back here, who will be a missile launcher guy next week. And then we've got a double pistol guy. We'll put him up close.
There we go.
Double
Perfect.
pistol guy. And then the primary psyker guys back here. And we will get you guys, I'll get you guys some good angles of this stuff. What we're going to do here is we're going to do the first 10 or so minutes of this combat, and then we're going to have to say to be continued. So that's what's going on.
Sounds like a plan.
Sweet.
Unless we want to, I know we're kind of running out of time here. Unless we want to hold it here and start next week, right in the thick of the fire.
We can do that.
We can.
It's just whatever you think's the best.
I think it's more fun to do the first turn.
To get a little excited. All right, sounds good. So Altiok, sure enough. So you guys are surrounding you, all around you.
Is the Torox a British vehicle? Which side is the Farseer driving on? I'm going to say that it's American for some reason. Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Comes out
So,
the right side there.
where is the point of this psyker? Like, would I
He's
be
right-
able to know where he is? Like,
Oh, absolutely.
right there.
Yeah, he's right there. You
I would
sensed
like-
him. You know where everyone is because you were able to sense their souls.
Amazing. I would like to start the combat by casting a pushed Eldritch Storm on top of his location.
All right, sounds good.
So for elves, it's a little bit fancy. Pushing, it makes it so you perils on any double or a fail, but you can increase your psi rating by up to 4. And then for each increase, you get a plus 15 on your perils. And if you fail, you just auto perils.
Ooh.
So I think that's how I'm going to start. And it'll be a willpower check. And then the radius is going to be pretty dramatically increased. It's going to be a radius of 18 meters. So I might have to actually push the point out a little bit because obviously I don't want it to hit all of us.
Oh, there he is. Oh, yeah.
There's the cool old model.
All right, perfect. Well, then, yes, go ahead and
Cool.
make that check for me, if you would.
I'll roll a 21.
A
So it'll
21,
be,
that's pretty good.
It'll be 8 degrees of success in total.
And not a double.
Not a double, which is actually very, very important.
Would not be good for you guys if it was.
No, one second. Let me pull up the actual spell.
Our audience tells us that just so we know, the Torox driver's seat is on the right.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the internet knows that.
No, I know it's a must. I can't remember. I'm sure that you build a driver's seat when you put together your Torox, but I
was
can
just trying to
honestly
figure
say
out
I
based
don't
on
think
where
I.
the turret is, but I'm really struggling with it now.
I know exactly.
I'm just going to borrow this for a moment here.
So this is actually problematic, Billy. Every degree of success extends the range by 2 meters.
Oh, incredible!
Oh no!
This is great. This is great news. All right,
This is
so
1 second.
It's enough to like 30.
This is a 27-meter radius.
that's pretty big.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be like almost everybody?
Yeah, I would assume so.
I
Well,
That's almost 100 feet, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe so.
Yes, I believe everybody.
Yeah. All right. So go ahead and tell us what happens. Oh, Farseer.
So everyone in this range is going to take 3d10 plus 8 damage with a pen of 8.
Oh my
It's
goodness.
going to be the effects.
So,
Wonderful.
Farseer, I'm assuming you have some sort of telekinetic shield spell.
No, certainly not.
Okay. So,
You can,
as you're, and we're gonna let this happen. Don't worry. But as you're doing this, you sense great turmoil as the psyker in front of you. He reaches down and he grabs like some sort of flask on his hip and he smashes it onto the ground. And as he does that, you're gonna sense like almost everyone in the clearing has some sort of like telekinetic kind shield seem to like expose around their flesh, more or less, and that's everybody because he freaking blasts. So anyway, yeah, so go ahead and roll me that 3d10 really quick if you would.
yeah.
I think everybody has to dodge, don't they?
Yes. No.
Yes.
Everyone gets to dodge. So you want to roll damage first, or you want to roll dodges first?
Let's roll the dodges first because that's funny, and then we'll
Yes.
roll the damage. Though I should have protected everyone a little bit, so we'll see.
Okay.
So yeah, everybody roll me an agility test, please. Starting off really exciting.
I failed so hard. Can I use a fate point to re-roll that?
Absolutely,
You certainly
absolutely.
can.
Oh, still terrible.
All right. So, Gage, you see the sky open up as the lightning starts striking down.
2 degrees of failure.
Would you like to would you like to use a fate, whoever just rolled?
Oh, actually, I think I'm okay. No, actually, I'm not. Never mind. I think with the skill of dodge, it gets a plus 20,
It does.
so it's only
yes.
70.
Oh,
Yeah,
so you
I
do
might have
pass.
to.
Right? Seven.
No.
Oh, no. You
Yeah,
failed by a
yeah.
little bit. Yeah, you probably have to spend a
Yeah.
fate point there. Yep, go for it.
Yeah, I think I will. If that's all right. That's okay. Oh, much better.
Hey, nice.
Diving underneath the Torox, Father Huck does.
I'm
Dungo.
screaming obscenities at Altiok as he goes nuclear.
Yeah, no kidding.
I'll roll a quick dodge test for myself to not die.
Important.
You have to roll one too.
You damn
Well,
right.
it's hitting them.
Yeah, I will pass with a 16.
This is like in baseball when they hit the ball right back at the pitcher and they have to try to catch it. Same thing.
Yeah.
Dongo does not pass his check.
No, I'm rolling my
Oh,
own
you rolled
check.
it? You rolled it? Okay,
I'm
never
rolling
mind.
my own
Good,
check.
good,
Thank
good.
you. Dongo.
33? 23? That's a
Yeah.
pass. I'd say it's a pass.
Dongo
Yeah.
dodges.
I'm assuming you just lift your power sign in the air, which I know.
Dongo is delicate ballerina.
Usually in a lightning storm, you don't lift a large chunk of metal above your head, but maybe it's just going to make your power field better. So you're like, ready
Dongo
to
defies
dodge.
science.
No, he
Makes
does.
sense.
Dongo does defy science, 100%. So yeah, okay. So go ahead and roll me that damage.
Amazing.
Oh no. This is gonna be bad.
Very well could be, because if there's Righteous Furies, then we roll another.
Oh.
It does Righteous Fury, yay.
But the other rolls were
are low.
trash.
Wow. Incredible. So it's going to be 10, 12, 13, 14. It's going to be 28 damage at pen 8.
I died almost
At
3
that
times.
So that's a lot
I
of
think
damage.
I think this explosion might be a great stopping point.
Leave everybody on a cliffhanger.
Yeah, I think so.
See what happens.
Yeah, I think that the explosion that has hit everyone for 1 billion damage is a fantastic way to end our first session.
I agree.
I would like
I
to say to everyone that this has been a fantastic time, and we learned a lot. This is the first time we've ever really done this, other than the little bit of a test we did last time. So please, thank you for being patient with us while we had technical problems and we figured things out. I learned a lot about the angles and the models we're going to use. So that was great for me. We learned some stuff about how the group's going to communicate and work together next time. So that'll be great. And I believe we have 2 pretty neat combats queued up for next time now. So I have really, really neat models for the next one. So I'm excited about that. So that's what we got going on. You'll be able to find this on the YouTube to watch it in total. Best in Tabletop is our YouTube. And then on Wednesday morning, our competitive analysis show, Competitive Advantage, is at 7 a.m., not to be confused with this show, it's at 7 p.m. And then on Thursday, we have the very first episode of the rebooted Better Human, Better Gamer, where I'll be joined by JT McDowell and Danny McDevitt to talk through an experience I had being called a cheater at a tournament. And what that means, and what I'm going to use that to redo the way I learn 40K and how I play it. So that's this week, and then this will be back next Monday for episode 2, episode dos, as
If
some
everybody
of
lives.
the NPCs seem to speak Spanish.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, a few of them.
Yeah.
Right on.
So
Well,
thank you,
for
everybody.
watching.
What's that? Yeah, thank you, everybody. Have a great night, everybody, or morning, or whatever time it is there.
Emperor, protect us.
Everyone
Go!
is.
Go!